day. Welcome back to Sip with Joy. If this is your first time joining, this is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings, and I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And of course, the wine. So today I am drinking a Chardonnay from South Africa. It's another wine from Venera Wine Society. I am partnering with them for this season of Sip with Joy. So excited to introduce the last wine from this collection that I have from them. So I can't wait to get more in my hands because these wines have been so good. And I'm not really a big Chardonnay fan, but I love Chardonnay from South Africa. So this is really good, and I got to take my sip. That's a good one. That is a really good one. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. We have a guest today. So today's episode is titled I'm a Survivor. And it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I will be joined by Creative Curator Shayla James, who will share her journey of being a breast cancer survivor. She is also a fellow Capricorn. So I love her. She is from Oakland, and she'll tell you all more about herself when she comes on. And also, it's my baby Gigi's birthday today. So y'all say happy birthday to Gigi. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Shayla on. Shayla. Shayla, take yourself off mute.
Yes.
you done,
Hi.
you
Hi.
walked away from the screen.
I know.
That is too
I have
funny.
to put myself closer to the sun so you can
Yes, I
see.
love it. The natural glow is there,
Yes.
boo. It is there. Welcome,
Thank
Shayla. Thanks for being
thank
here.
you. I am so excited to be here. And
Yes.
yes, I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that you
Yeah.
asked me.
Yes.
How was your day?
So before we get started, what are you sipping on?
So I don't drink, unfortunately. I am sipping. That's my grandmother.
Oh.
I'm doing a podcast. Um, I am sipping on Thai tea with coconut milk.
Ooh,
That's
that sounds yummy and healthy. Well, cheers, boo.
here.
Okay. So before we really dive into the questions, hey Elsie, thank you. She says she loves my pink. And happy birthday, Gigi. Elsie said happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Uh,
Gigi.
so before we dive in, tell us more about you because you literally do it all.
I do. I be having so many tabs open in my
Yes.
brain.
I feel like it's the
Capricorn,
curse of a Capricorn. We are.
curse of the Capricorn. Okay, so I'm Shayla James. I'm an event curator. I have a community organization back in Oakland, California called So Oakland. I've been having that for about 9 years. I curate block parties, just events, and also like my biggest one that I do is I'm a co-producer of a festival called Lake Fest out in Oakland.
Nice.
I am a fashion enthusiast. I love thrifting. I Thrifting is my life. So I love seriously. I cannot stay out of a thrift store. Right before I got on, I was actually at a thrift store. Um, and also I make jewelry. I have a lipstick brand called Bang Brand that's coming out really soon. And yeah, like I'm just an overall creative, and everything that
Yes.
I do that makes me feel good, I'm gonna do it.
You are. That's why, y'all, I said she
Yeah, I
literally
never
does it
asked.
all.
I know you was just like, so what's your title? I'm like, I just do so many things. I don't know.
Everything.
Creative curator. Yes.
I think that encompasses. I think
Yeah.
that encompasses it all.
Me too.
So yes. Well, good. Well, welcome.
Thank
So glad to
you.
have you here. And y'all, she really is like the thrift queen. I'm like,
I
how did you even put that together? Because
am.
I go into a thrift store and I'm like, I see nothing. And she,
Right. And
you know,
you skipped over all of this. You didn't see
yeah.
that. did at the thrift social,
I
though.
did. I did. She has a thrift social, y'all. And if you're in
Mhm.
Houston, yes, you definitely have to go to the next one. I did find some good ones, but
You
it's
did.
I gotta put it together, you know.
Hey, that's when the hard part comes in. All
Yeah.
right, put it together. Okay, I got
She
you.
be turning bed sheets into dresses,
I
y'all.
sure I do. I everybody's in one section. I'm over there like I'm about to go to the linens and the sheets and the curtains. Bye, y'all, because I
Yes.
vision. I see something.
You literally do. It's Shayla James on Instagram if you want to see her put together some stuff, okay? I'm going to
Yeah.
drop that in the chat. So, okay. So going back to your breast cancer journey. So, can you take us back to the moment when you were first diagnosed and what were your
Yeah.
initial thoughts and feelings when you heard those words, you have cancer?
Okay. So, the first time I found out, it's a little story behind that. I was actually dating this guy I met on Hinge. I
Okay,
had met this
Hinge, come
guy
through Hinge cuz it ain't
on
came through for
Hinge.
me.
Okay, it don't always come through, but it came through. I met this guy. We were dating for a couple weeks, and he didn't live in Houston. I thought he did, and while we were, getting to know each other, then I found out he lived in another state.
Mhm.
So we planned a weekend. He was like, "I'm gonna fly you out to where I'm at, and we're gonna hang out and all of the above." So I'm like, "Cool." So that time comes around. I head out to Kansas where he lived, and we were having a great weekend. And prior to that, I think it was like 3 weeks before that, I had got my biopsy and all of that. So I
Mhm.
was waiting for the results to come in. And at that time, my primary care physician was my best friend in California.
Mm.
So when I was out there, when they tell you, like, we'll let you know what the results are in X amount of time, it kind of slipped my mind. But I also was just like, okay, I should be getting some results really soon, but
Yeah.
I'm going to worry about it right now because I'm trying to enjoy myself with my
Mhm.
new friend.
Yeah.
So um, I think it was I had went out there on a Friday. Yeah, I went out there. Oh, no, I went out there on a Thursday.
Mhm.
And that Friday, the next day, we were supposed to go out to eat. And I remember he was in the kitchen and he was cooking, and I get a phone call, and I saw the name pop up across my phone, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, my heart just started beating really fast, and I
Yeah.
picked, and I was like, hello, and she was like, hey, Shayla, this is so and so from wherever, and how was your day? Just going, all that, and I'm
Yeah.
just
You like get to the point.
do it. So she's like, well,
Yeah.
we have to get in contact with your primary care physician, and we can't get in contact with her, and we left her a message. So, I guess we can just give you the results from your biopsy because
Yeah.
usually my primary care physician would have gave me the results.
Mhm.
So she gets silent, and I'm like, all right, like it already went. I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is good. So she was like, "Well, unfortunately, I hate to give you this news,
Mm.
but you are um you do have breast cancer, and I want to say maybe like stage 2, stage 3, we're not sure.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
I'm so sorry that you have to, I have to give you this news." And
Yeah.
so there was no emotion at that moment. Also, I just met this guy, and I didn't know how to like feel around him yet, right? And I was,
Right.
dang, like I just met him, and
Yeah.
to be too vulnerable around him, I don't even
Right.
know who will accept this. So she's like, well, after we get off of the phone call, you are going to have an oncology nurse. She's going to call you, and she's going to give you the rundown of everything that's basically you're about to go through. So I was
Mm.
like, okay. So I hung up the phone. I still wasn't processing it. I'm looking back, looking at him. He's cooking. I was like I was very quiet talking to
Yeah.
her. So then a call follows right after that, and it was an oncology nurse. And she called me, and she was just like, sorry, about the news, but we're going to go over what your treatment plan looks like, right?
Yeah.
And she just said, okay, so basically you have stage 2, stage 3, you're about to go to about 14 counts of 14 rounds of chemo. She was talking so fast. It was so much
Mm.
information.
Wow.
She was probably gonna go through like 14 to 16 rounds of chemo. Oh yeah, did you want to have kids? Because you know what, you're gonna have to talk to a fertility doctor and figure that out, freezing your eggs. Oh yeah, and then you're gonna have to go to radiation. We're not sure how many rounds. Then you're gonna have to take this medication at least for 5 to 10 years or indefinitely. We're not sure. Like it was just
Wow.
so much
Woo,
information at one time.
girl.
Like your life just
Yeah.
that whole 180. And I'm like, I'm on the phone. I'm like, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. She was just like, I know it's a lot of information. I'm so sorry, but do you have a oncology team that or cancer team that you might be interested in, working with? And I'm thinking like, I just moved to
You
Houston a month ago.
right.
And, trying to find a cancer team was not on my list.
Yeah.
So the things and the reasonings why I moved to Houston were all on the back burner. It went to like, okay, now I have to find a cancer doctor and a team that's going to keep me alive.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
and so then he, after talking to him, hung up the phone. I called my friend immediately. I told her, we start crying. And then I just got real tight, wiped my eyes, and just like, that was that.
Mm.
Um, he had went to go lay down, and I went to wake him up, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to go back to Houston. And he was just like, why? I was like, yeah, I just think it's time for me to go back to Houston. I just have to take care of some stuff. So he kept saying, like, why, over and over again. And I just did not want to tell him. I hated that I
Mhm.
found out in front of somebody that I wasn't really close with.
Yeah.
Then I end up telling him, and then I broke down, and like he just didn't know how to like react. He was like, do I hug you, or do I, like I don't,
Right.
right, because this was supposed to be our kick it weekend of.
Yeah, you're not
And so then we got set on the couch, and he was talking to me and just telling me about his dad and things of that nature. But I remember we were supposed to go to dinner, and we both fell asleep on the couch. I woke up, it was 7 o'clock. We had reservations, and I was like, all right, I think it's time for us to go eat. This would be a
yeah.
great time to kind of clear my mind. And then he was just like, you know what, I think that I want to stay in and maybe to like eat something that's in the fridge. And I'm just like, well, I'm about to go across the street and get me something to eat. Because one thing about me, solo, I will
Yeah.
make, like
Exactly.
I want to go out to eat. So I went
Yeah.
across the street, ate, talked to my friends. All my friends were calling me. We were processing everything. Hour later, I walked back across the street, went upstairs, and sat on the couch. And he was just very silent. His energy was totally different. It was totally like he just shifted.
Mm.
45 minutes of silence on the couch.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what's up with you? Why are you, I feel like you're so distant right now. And he was just like, so I don't think this is going to work.
Wow.
He said,
Wow.
yes. He said, I don't think this is going to work. It's just a lot. It's too much for me. I'm in the
Wow.
process of building my house. I'm in the,
What?
yes, I'm in the process of building my house. And, this is just a lot. And I'm like, well, last week you was just trying to get me to help you pick out stuff for your house. So now
Yeah.
I'm so stuck. And so in
Wow.
my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is what cancer is going to be like. People
Mm.
are going to look at me like, ugh, she has cancer. I don't want to have anything to do with her. But
Mhm.
like that, so that was my first experience. I end up packing my bags, and
Wow.
and when I packed my bags and walked out, he didn't say bye. He didn't say
Oh my
anything. Yes.
God.
And that was like,
Oof.
yeah, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," it was crazy how I told him that, and he just completely changed into a different person. But what does God do? He removes people out of your life for a reason,
Exactly. It's like you
right?
didn't want to be with that
Yeah,
energy anyway when you're going through something like that.
yeah, absolutely not. So after that, that was the only negative experience through my journey. Like after that,
Yeah,
I was taking dates. Nobody made me feel any type of way. If anything,
that's
I felt
good.
like people were gravitating to me
Yeah,
more. So
yeah.
so it was like I didn't really have I called my friends and tried to process everything. But I remember calling my homegirl who herself had went through breast cancer.
Mm.
And we got on the phone and she was like, I'm gonna tell you what my mom told me. She said, cry, scream, do whatever, you get that shit out right
Yeah.
now
Mm-hmm.
because you need all your energy to fight.
Mm.
And if you got to fall on the ground, do whatever you need to do. But after that, she said, just like this, get your ass up and we got to fight to fight. And that's
Right.
exactly it. I feel like that weekend I cried, I
Yeah.
processed, and then it was go time. Like I didn't have time to I knew I didn't want to, I didn't want anybody feeling sorry for myself, for
Mm-hmm.
me. I didn't want to feel sorry for myself. I wanted to create my own story, my own narrative of what my cancer journey was going to look like. So
Right. No,
that was how,
I love that, write your own story,
yeah,
and don't let anybody else write it for you. So,
exactly.
would you say there was a turning point for you where it really set in, where reality set in?
Um, I would say it didn't really hit me. It didn't even hit me until not even when I lost my hair. Like it didn't even hit
Mm.
me then because I've always been this, expressive. Like I would shave my hair, like all of
Yeah.
those things. So it wasn't even that. I think when it really set in was when they told me that I would have to get a mastectomy.
Mm.
That's when, because I still felt normal. I had my breast,
Yeah.
everything was fine outside of the fact that I lost hair. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it really hit me until they were like, okay, we wanted to try to save your breast, we wanted to try to save your nipple, but the
Yeah.
is too big and it has spread into your lymph nodes. And
Mm.
so we don't want to get a lumpectomy because we might be afraid that there's still cancer in your breast. So we have to
Mm.
remove you. That's when it hit me. And that's when I had to do so much work because one thing I didn't want to do is feel sorry for myself or not love myself or not feel like I was beautiful
Mm.
the way that I was. So it was a lot of, this may seem cliche, but it was a lot of waking up and talking to myself in the mirror,
Yeah.
standing there. Yeah, like you are
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, you are fine, girl. Look at you, not trying to lose that glow
Yeah.
and the love and confidence that I have for myself, you know, pre breast cancer. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Whew, girl, listen. So you talked about, having the conversations with your loved ones,
Hmm.
and but how did you navigate those conversations while processing your own emotions? Because it's like I gotta call my friends and tell them this. I'm
Yeah.
also going through this process
Yeah.
myself. Like, how did you navigate your own emotions? Because then you dealing with them like crying on the other line, and you like,
Right.
girl, I'm trying to get through this myself, and you over
Right.
here, you know.
So one thing about me, Joy, and this could not always be a good thing,
Yeah,
is us us Capricorns sometimes don't like people to see us sweat.
yeah,
I'll cry behind closed doors, but nobody, like, I'm gonna come out, my show face as everything
right.
is gonna be okay. And then also I just think that has a lot to do with my childhood and
Mm-hmm.
a defense mechanism. Like I don't like asking for help. And also just being a black woman, always feeling like we gotta be this strong
Yes.
person all the time. And so every time my friends would call me, they would be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm good. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
good." Cancer is a very mental disease
Yeah.
as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of like making sure your mind is right because a lot of times you can look completely fine. You can feel completely fine, but you have to do so much work here to not like go down this rabbit hole of because of how this person went through cancer or this person
Mm.
went through cancer, because every single person, his body is different and it's
Yeah.
going to affect differently. And so talking to my friends, the good thing about my friends is, I was way in Houston. All my friends and my family were in Oakland, California. And, technically I didn't have anybody out in Houston to go through their journey with me. But also I was like, I'm good. I got it. That's why I was like, I'm
Yeah.
good. All the time. They're like, my friends will be like, one thing about you, we hear you, but we still gonna check up on you, or we're just gonna pull up on you because
Yes.
you're the person that'll let
Yep.
us know that something is wrong.
Hmm.
Um, but also I let them know, I said, I know that you guys are coming from a place of love. And when I talk to you guys, I don't need to hear the crying. I don't need to have a
Mm.
conversation about cancer every time, because I'm still Shayla. I'm still me.
Yeah.
Um, I want you guys to just be open when I ask you, and be open when I tell you the type of support that I need.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you what I need from you. The support I need from you today is call me and talk regular and tell me some jokes.
Right.
Like, the type of support that I need is, calling me and gossiping and just talk, like, just being regular. Before I told you that this was my diagnosis.
Yeah.
My friends were very supportive of that. We had a calendar, actually. We had a calendar, taking turns of who would come out to pull up on me. Um, and they respected that. I think that not even my friends, but I shared on social media that I
Mm.
was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that was very overwhelming. So it was very extremely overwhelming. My DMs were so full, and I know it
Yeah.
was coming from a place of love, but it was also overwhelming. And so in the beginning, I thought that I had to sit there and take, like, whatever people are giving me, because they care for me. So
Yeah.
I have
Exactly.
this suggestions of, like, oh, Shayla, you know what? You shouldn't be eating that. Like, everybody wants to be my doctor.
Everybody is a doctor. Everybody is a healer.
Everybody wants to be a doctor. Everybody wants to tell me all the different teas I needed to
And they want to
drink.
tell you about their stories too.
They
And you
want to
like, I'm
tell me
trying to
about their
get through my
stories.
stuff.
Yeah. And so at first I felt like, oh yeah, okay, so they're sharing their experience. It was never like their experience. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, my aunt went through that, and she chemo was, it did her horribly, and she passed away. But and so it was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And
You
so
like, I don't really
then
want to hear that right
I,
now.
I I don't want to hear that. And so I did get to a point, and what cancer taught me is boundaries.
Yes.
Um, and there was a lot of times where I got to the point where I was like, I hear you, but can you please stop sending me articles? Can you please
Right.
stop making suggestions? I have an amazing cancer.
Yeah.
I love the treatment that I'm in.
Hmm.
I know it's coming from a place of love. And if you take it
Yeah.
the wrong way, that's something you have to handle. But
Hmm.
I'm apologetically letting you know that I'm going to go through this the way that I want to go through it. And I can't, like, that is just too much for me. So
Absolutely.
everybody was just, they understood that, and they love that I put my foot down,
Yeah.
and I needed that for my mental health. Like, if I'm like, I was still at Chapman and Kirby, my head bald. I was still, this is my first move. So,
Right.
I also at the same time learn Houston
Yeah.
time. And so, I remember I would be in Chapman and Kirby, and I got my bald head, and people come up to me like, are you going through cancer? "Mm,
Really?
cancer? Yeah, are you going through cancer?" And I would be
Wow.
like, yeah.
That's
And
interesting. I would not walk up to anybody and ask them that.
absolutely not. And so I would be like, yeah,
People just
or
have no tact.
no, none at all. But I would just, I would be like, yeah, but what's crazy is, like, it didn't the way that you show up, like, your confidence just shows.
Yeah.
If you are a confident person, and showing up as your authentic self, I feel like people pour into you even more, and
Absolutely.
you're like beaming this light out, because
Yes.
you can stop my bald head and stop no man.
Hello. Hello.
It stop nothing.
Yeah.
So it going through that, and also trying to, I was like trying to let the people know my friends know how I needed to be supported,
Mhm.
but also just For me, I was in denial
Mm.
for a long time. I felt
Yeah.
like I didn't give myself time to process. I'm going through chemo. Okay. And I remember my doctors would be like, you just like, you be knocking it out. Like you show up and you got your lipstick on and you
Yeah.
just like, yeah, like let's do this. And you don't
Yeah.
have anybody with you. And I'm like, no. Okay.
Mm.
You want to drive yourself? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Or
Yeah.
if people try to come with me, I would not let them come with me because
Yeah.
I just wanted to, like, I didn't know, like, this is the first time. Like, I don't know. I needed to let me experience and see what this does for me.
Mm.
And if I need you, I promise I'll let you know that I need you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Dorica said you seem to have a very positive attitude despite what you had to go through. Did you ever become depressed?
Um, so I actually became depressed after treatment, like
Mm.
not during chemo, not during radiation. When I became depressed? When when I wasn't able to bounce back and jump right back into the things that I used to do.
Mm.
Um, us. We
Yes.
we are go, 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 hustle, hustle, ambitious. So I
Mm-hmm.
was used to doing all these things. Sitting down and not doing those things was very difficult to me
Yeah.
for me. I would call my friend like, oh my God, like I'm sitting here, I feel like a bum. Like I feel like I would literally be like like I don't know, am I supposed to be making jewelry or like handle like writing some emails or like
Right.
coming up with this
Yeah.
ideas? And my friend
Mm-hmm.
Shayla, I need you to give yourself grace. I need you
Yeah.
to relax. You are going through one of the most difficult times of your life, and I need you to just, you're okay. Like my friends would
Mm-hmm.
be like, you're okay. And I think that the hardest part of this journey, like I said, was not during, it was after, when who you were before
Mm.
basically has died, and now you're trying to get to know who this new person is.
Yeah.
Breast cancer.
Mm.
That was the time that was, I'm sitting on my couch, I'm waking up, sitting on my couch, and I'm literally staring into at the ceiling. I'm waiting to feel motivated again. I'm
Mm.
waiting to feel creative again. I'm waiting to feel inspired again. So every day that was a routine of sitting on the couch, moving around, trying to touch things that I used to touch. Like, okay, let me try to do a get ready with me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, get dressed. It wouldn't stick. Okay, let me try to make some jewelry because I used to love jewelry before. I couldn't do that. Okay,
Yeah.
let me do my makeup. Let me do my makeup. I'll start and it would just stop. And I didn't understand. Like, it was like I was trying to hold on to the old Shayla because that was a sense of
Mm.
normal for me.
Mm.
And who is this new Shayla? My body is different. Even though I love myself, I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
What do I like? What's my favorite color? Do I even like this type of food anymore? Like what
Yeah.
it so that was a time where I was like, you know what? Like I need to get a therapist.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's when I got a therapist and really just start talking those things through. And like also coming to like stop being in denial of what I was going through.
Right.
Because I think for like a year and a half, I never gave myself time to, like, girl, you are going.
Process it.
I felt like I didn't have time. I felt like I had to
Mm.
show people, you know, a different side of
Yeah.
breast cancer. Like it's not, it doesn't have to be this sad, depressed. Like you can pull up, you can still love on yourself, you can still enjoy life. Like that is how I was pulling up, and so also trying to like rewire my thoughts because when you're going through breast cancer, you're always constantly thinking about death. You always
Mm.
think about, oh my God, am I about to die? Am I about to
Yeah.
die? Every day you're trying to figure out like, what are the things that I need to do because I might die? So I need to hurry up and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to hurry up and like, it's almost like your bucket list is right in front of you and you're like, I need to hurry up and do all these things
Yeah.
because I might. okay, you know? And so that I didn't realize like doing that how much pressure I was putting on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that was causing me to be depressed. And I realized I was depressed when I was out with my friends. They came out here to visit, and we were at a day party. And I just like start feeling I was sad. And I was just like,
Mm.
oh my God, why am I sad? Like we're turning up, we're having a good time. And we leave the restaurant and they decide to go somewhere else. And they were like, all right, everybody follow each other. And I was in my car. And when everybody went left, I went left, but I just made a right. And I didn't tell them or nothing. I just drove home.
Wow.
And and when I got home, I was bawling. And I realized like I'm not okay. My friends, because they never really knew that I wasn't okay, because they always asked me, "Are you good?" And I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were just going off of my energy.
Right.
I was at home and I started crying and I'm like, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm really not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I text my friends and they were like, where are you? We just pulled up. And I was like, it was so hard for me to text this, but I said, y'all, I'm home and I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And that's so hard. I was talking to this guy at the time and I called him before I told them. And he was like, your friends are in town for a reason. And this is the time that you need them. And I need you to
Yeah.
be honest with your friends. And you don't have to carry
Mm.
this strong
Yes.
superwoman, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
the time. And it was so hard, Joy, to text them and let them know that I'm not okay. And
Yeah.
when I so they text me back and was like, "Oh my gosh, Shay, what's wrong? What's wrong?" So all the text messages are coming in and they're like, "Do you need us to come to you?" And I wouldn't respond. But 30 minutes later, I get a
They were
knock at
at the door. Yeah. They
and
like,
who you
okay, we're not doing
the
this with
food or
you.
whatever. It was like, yeah, no, we're not just, yeah, we
Yeah.
know you too well. And you're not going to go into detail. And so then
Yeah.
that was the first time in 2 years that my friends really knew the truth of how it was affecting me. And I
Mm.
remember after that, I just got a ticket. I bought a ticket to Colombia um, a couple weeks later, and I went on a solo trip to Colombia, and
Wow.
I was not okay. And then when I
Mm.
came back, I just felt refreshed.
Yeah.
Um, I started to feel creative again.
Mm-hmm.
I started to feel inspired again, and I got excited about life again. Because
Yeah.
I was holding all of that inside, and that was a problem. I didn't give myself to be like Shayla, give myself the time to be like Shayla, you're not okay. I
Right.
never I never said that in my journey at all.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
pretty powerful, but I think when you are used to being the strong friend, the
Yep.
strong one,
Yep.
like even when
Mhm.
we got on this call, I was like, "Are you okay?" But I knew
Yeah.
you was. I was like, "She lying." I was like, "But I'm gonna
I
let her have it today. I'm not gonna go in. I'm
yes.
not gonna go in
Yes.
on my Capricorn sister today." But I
Yes.
was like,
It's taught me a
uh,
lot. I'm in a different space now. When I'm
"Yeah,
not okay, I give myself that time
yeah,
to, like Shayla, you're human. You're not
yeah."
okay, and it's ask for help, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a different space, and that's like what the journey taught me because I
Yeah.
can't handle. You have people who love you for a reason. You have people that check
Yeah.
on you for a reason. Like you need people.
Absolutely.
You need your team and your tribe for a reason.
Absolutely. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm like, she answered that question. She answered that question.
Ah,
Okay. um, Elsie said, "Is she a January Capricorn? Because she sounds like she is me and I am
I
her."
am. I am
Yes.
January 17th,
Yes.
Capricorn.
Yes.
Yes.
January
You see
14th, right
how we
here.
know? You know.
We really have a problem. We
We
really do. We
do.
are a victim of our own circumstances, okay?
Seriously.
Um, okay, so let's see. You mentioned, words of affirmation and things like that, keeping
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
keeping you up. So, what was it like to transition? Did I ask you this question? No.
I don't know which one.
Hold on. Well, let me just ask you this one. How did this experience change your perspective on life? And you touched on it a little bit. Did you find that your priorities shifted in terms of what truly mattered to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can honestly say that, like, I mean, outside of being in my 40s, you get to your 40s and you already like, I ain't got time. I am like, you know who you are. You don't got time
Yes.
for BS. You're already in that space in your life. Um, but I'm so much more protective over my peace. Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yes.
Like like I said, like boundaries. I have boundaries and I'm unapologetic about it and I
Yeah.
don't care how you feel about it. I'm like just being in the work that I've done, like with So Oakland and doing events, I've always done things that brought people joy.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to see other people happy. Like I'm pouring all this.
Mhm.
I want to see everybody just enjoying life.
Yeah.
Then you do all of that and you're left empty.
Mm. Yes.
And what they say, so who's checking on Superman, right?
Right. Right.
And so it makes me I'm just I'm I'm very like I pay more attention to time,
Yeah.
and how I utilize my time. Um, like you realize how small things are, like things don't really be that serious. You
Mhm.
know, like
Yeah.
the importance of relationship, the importance of loved ones, living in the moment. I also think the pandemic taught me that too.
Yeah.
Just living in the moment. Like don't ask me where I see myself in 5 years because I don't know. I just let me see where I'm at tomorrow.
Right. You like
Let me
trying
see
to
where I'm at in
get
an
through
hour.
today.
You know, let me see where I'm at an hour. Okay, because I feel like you should just. So where do you see yourself in? I don't know. And that's okay. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's okay to say I don't know and not
Right.
feeling like you have to have this calculated answer of like because I don't know. Like I'm I've always been a woman of God. I was raised by my grandparents,
Yeah.
Baptist. I'm very spiritual. God is my
Mhm.
I love him and I let him lead me.
Yeah.
And I had moments of doubt, but I look back at all the things that I've been through and he has carried me and he has never failed me. Um, and so I just allow him to lead me
Yeah.
faithfully. And like now it's just truly about me and the things that make me happy.
Mm.
And that is what my journey has taught me is life is moving.
Yeah.
God has given me another chance to be here. He's not finished with me yet. I have a mission.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I have a mission.
Yes.
Um, and I don't want to miss my mark. So
Yeah.
that is what I'm on. And I'm just in a beautiful space. Even if it's things that aren't going my way, I just don't stress off the things I can't change.
Right.
Breast cancer taught me that.
Yeah.
Just like that, you can have plans, and they can be the greatest plans because we always plan for the most beautiful things, right? We don't plan
Mhm.
for
Right, we
unexpected
don't
things.
plan for the worst.
We
Right.
don't plan for the worst, and
Yeah.
so the worst happened, and I didn't plan for it, but I made it through.
Mm.
Still making it through. And I think another thing is like just because I went through chemo and I went through radiation and I'm here, it's still a fight every day,
Yeah.
every day. Like I'm even more at high risk because I've already went through it. So it's
Right.
always like I still have to get checkups every 3 months and making
Yeah.
sure I'm good and that's gonna be as long as I'm here. It doesn't just like, all right, you're cured, you're done. No, it's
Yeah.
still it's still a fight every day. But God is good and I'm in a beautiful space.
You are. I love it. What the kids say, I love that for you.
For
I love that
you.
for you. So, and I know, you talked about how everybody's journey is different, but
Yes.
what would you say to someone who might be putting off getting a screening
Ooh,
or who's hesitant about going to the doctor, knowing that
ooh.
there might be a problem, but they're just like, I don't want to know, you know?
You know what? I can say that, one thing about me, I was always
Yeah.
like, I was before, like I was touching on myself
Yeah.
and checking on myself, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember when I felt the lump in my left breast, and I thought that it had to do with my menstrual, because 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
before your breast get tender, so I'm thinking like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, maybe that is just,
Mm-hmm.
because my menstrual is about to come.
Yeah.
And when that was done, it was still there. And so every day I was just what is this?
Right.
And I was driving down, I was on the highway in Houston, and there was a large sign. Again, this is when I first got out there. So it was a large sign, and it was like soulless, like mammography. I
Oh
think that's,
yeah, so out
yeah,
there on Shadow Creek Parkway, yes.
big.
Yeah.
It was mammograms,
Mm-hmm.
$99. And I was like, and I'm driving, and I was just like, I feel like this is a sign. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like something is telling me like I need to go,
Yeah.
right? I texted my friend and was telling her about it. She was like, Shayla, you need to go get that checked. So to make a long story short, I feel like people who are holding it off, and I know that it's this, I would rather not know. Like,
Yeah.
would rather not know than know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but early detection can save your life, because
Absolutely.
if I wouldn't have went, who would have known where I would have been?
Yeah.
Because I was at stage 3 and it had spread up to my lymph nodes.
Yeah.
If I gave some more time, it could have spread somewhere else.
Mm.
And next thing you know, because I do know people who have waited last minute or just
Yeah.
decided not to go, then all of a sudden they feel this pain. They get there and they're like, yeah, you're at stage 4 and it spread to your brain. That's why you have
Yeah.
headaches. You got X amount of time to live,
Right.
and it's real.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, but I tell people all the time, like, go get checked, and please advocate for yourself,
Yes.
because of times these doctors, the age thing doesn't even, remember when you were younger and certain things like cancer, like they were considered like
Yeah.
old people disease.
Exactly. Yeah, and
They're
they're
like,
not anymore.
what? They're not. My friend, she just got diagnosed and she's 28, and so
Yeah, the
doctors
age is
tell
getting
you
younger and younger.
getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
And the doctors will try to tell you, no, you don't need to get that because you need to wait till you're 40. And they are like, they will be adamant and be like, no. And so it's very important that you really advocate for yourself. Even
Yeah.
some of the insurances will be like, they won't approve
Yeah.
it because of your age. And don't just take no for an answer. If
Exactly.
you go to that doctor and they tell you no, do your research and go see
Yeah.
someone that will tell you yes and really push for yourself, especially as a black woman.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's so
We're
important.
disproportionately affected because especially black women have dense breasts, and
Huh?
even a mammogram may not detect certain things. You have to request an ultrasound, which insurance does not cover,
Yeah,
So it's just, I'm like,
yeah.
what do we do to deserve this, Lord? you know
And I'm super thankful for my cancer team
yeah.
coming from California, coming from the Bay Area. We don't have a lot of black doctors and black
Mm,
nurses like you do in the South.
wow.
And coming to Texas and having a cancer team full of black nurses and black oncologists,
Yeah.
like, I felt like they really loved on me. I felt like I was a cousin. They would be like, cousin, are you good, cousin?
Right,
Really
right.
cared for me, checked on me. I didn't feel like I was just patient number 2752. You know,
Yeah.
I missed an appointment or something. They're calling on me and like, okay, where are you?
Mm,
Like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Um, asking about my family. Even when my friends came to visit me, when I rang the doorbell, they're all outside introducing themselves. Knowing my name, I knew their names, I knew their
Yeah,
faces.
I love
You
that.
know, they helped me through that.
Yeah.
Um, and so it just, I don't know how my experience would have been different if it could have been somebody, if it could have been a white cancer team. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I know that they really took care of me, and they
You
still take
yeah.
care of me to this
You were where you were supposed to be at that time.
that
Yes.
part.
So, looking back on your journey, and I know it's still a journey, like you said, but
Yeah.
where do you feel you found or find the most strength and resilience?
Um, I would say that honestly, Joy, I just wanted to I just wanted to show a different side of cancer,
Yeah.
because I get DMs all the time from women who are like distraught, like, I don't want to get out of bed. I can't believe this happened to me. I'm losing my hair. Oh my gosh, I'm about to lose my breast. I don't feel beautiful. I don't,
Yeah.
and so I so let me talk about surgery really quickly.
Mhm.
So when I was told that I had to get a mastectomy, I remember I cried, and I was just like, wow, my body is about to change. But let me tell you, see, God plays too much, because I remember, like, I was a woman who had large breasts, and I used
Yeah.
to always, oh, I hate my titties. I hate
Yeah.
these big. I don't, I
Right.
want to be, team little breasts. I used to say that for years. God was like, oh, do you
You do
really?
you? Okay, I get bet.
Okay, I got you. And so then I had like doing all the work in the mirror and talking to myself prepare me for this change that I was going to have with my body, right? And
Mm.
I remember getting the surgery, waking up, and I took the bandages off, and I seen all the stitches, and it was flat on one side, and I also asked them if I could get a breast reduction so it wouldn't be this whole difference. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't want this double D over here and then it just
Right.
flat. So I told them to make me like a B.
Yeah.
Um, and so then when I unwrapped, I just looked at it and I was okay, like I still felt beautiful, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect, but I was like I didn't look at myself, and I wasn't like
Right.
disgusted or like, oh
Yeah.
my God, like and I was like, wow, like damn, I feel like I feel fine.
Yeah.
And so then you wait a while, they put a tissue expander in, and it's like this contraption they put in you to stretch out your breast,
Mhm.
because it prepares you for an implant. And I wasn't sure I was going to get an implant. I've never been a implant, do things to my
Yeah.
body type of girl, but I was just like, well, that's, you hear about that, like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to get an implant to
Right.
create normalcy, right?
Mhm.
So when it was time to have these conversations, and I'm looking at the implant, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want that foreign object in my body,
Yeah.
like, you hear about it leaking, you hear about it bursting, you hear about
Yeah.
people getting breast implant illness. And I just didn't like, I wasn't connected to it. And so they were like, okay, well, if you don't want an implant, you can get a D flap. And that is where they take fat from your stomach and they build out your breast. That's like the most natural
Mm. Mhm.
of,
Mhm.
of getting a breast, of
Yeah.
getting your after surgery. And so I battled with that. I battled
Yeah.
my tissue expander. What was crazy is I got an infection. So
Mm.
it started to like push through my skin, like you can
Oh
see it.
my gosh.
Yeah, so I had to do an emergency
What?
surgery. Yep. I had to do emergency surgery to get that out. And by this time, I was just like, you know what, God, and even the guy I was dating at the time, I'm like, I don't want want to do not one more like
Right. One more surgery.
I don't want to do one more surgery. I don't want to put this breast implant inside of me and then something happened. But even the doctors were like, your body is rejecting. So we have a feeling if you do a breast implant, it's
It'll
going to
reject
reject.
that too. Yeah.
So we don't think that would be good for you.
Hmm.
And if you want a D flap, you have to gain weight. And I was just like, I don't know. You know?
Right.
It was like you have to gain weight. And the like the D flap is like almost you're getting a C-section. So it's this huge scar, that's not gonna go
Oh
away
yeah.
across your stomach.
Hmm.
And then
Oh,
also
they
they were
can't do that in a sexier way.
no,
Jesus.
no. So they said we could do that. And also, if I had back fat, they could pull from my back. So they were like, oh, we could take here, or maybe we could take some from back there.
Yeah.
But in all, I would have to get 3 surgeries.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
for a D flap. And they said, I was talking to other people who had went through that surgery, and they were just like, getting a D flap is the most painful. Like the process of healing is so painful. And by this time, I was just like, I don't know if I'm just trying to weigh out my options and just try like, is it because like this is my am I supposed to have a breast because I'm a woman? It's my
Yeah.
part of my womanhood. But I'm like, I still feel very sexy and I still feel very beautiful. And
Yeah.
I just came to the conclusion that I was just like, I don't want to do nothing else.
Right.
I was like, I just got a tattoo over it.
Yeah.
And I feel fine. Like I feel beautiful
Yeah.
and
And you are beautiful.
and so yeah, I decided not to do any of the
Whew.
surgeries. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because that's a lot to put your body through. And you're like, I mean, and it's not just the physical, but also the
Yeah.
psychological effects of going through these surgeries.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
one, like you said, multiple
No.
surgeries just to get one thing done.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Mhm.
listen,
Yeah. So I'm good.
I admire you and I really, really, really appreciate you
Thank
sharing your
you.
journey, like seriously. Because a
Thank you.
lot of people share, but then they don't share. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so
Yeah.
even someone in the chat said, they said, I love her honesty, openness, and transparency. You know, it's just like going to networking panels, right? You like, you're not telling me nothing that's gonna help me with my
Oh
business,
yeah, for
like
sure.
you're telling people how you literally survived this journey, and
Mm.
I appreciate that, I really do. And
Thank
even
you.
before, like I was like, okay, tell me if you don't want me to ask
Yeah.
certain questions because I respect what people are going through,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I know there may be certain aspects that people don't want to talk about. So I
Oh yeah.
respect that. So
Oh,
I
for sure.
do appreciate your transparency, your vulnerability,
Absolutely.
because this is something that is affecting so many of us right now.
So
So many. It's like the flu up in. I'm like,
I know it's
what is
becoming
going on?
too common. I always be like, it's the food,
The
it's these
food, the
chemicals,
air.
the air, it's
I'm
the
like,
phone,
if another air quality alert come across
the
my phone for
wires in our
Houston,
bra, it's the
yeah,
deodorant, it's
everything.
like it's everything. And when we talk about being transparent, like I talk about how many DMs I get of people who are not in that space of like wanting to share
Yeah.
public still, I'm like, and so it's like I'm trying to show people that like it's not the end. You can
Yes.
still love yourself. You can still feel
Yeah.
like a beautiful, powerful, sexy woman. Your dating life is not gonna stop.
Listen. Listen, everything still works. Everything
But
still works.
it works. But it's also just how
How you
you
feel? Yeah.
show up and don't rush your process. Like
Absolutely.
you take like people don't like I said, like I'm still I have my days of trying to like
Yeah.
embrace and like learn this new Shayla.
Right.
And so people don't talk about the post cancer and like how you're just in this like, did I just go through all that? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, like, what do I like? Okay. What, you don't feel attached to anything. You just feel like you just floating through life.
Yeah.
It's a very eerie feeling, and it's very uncomfortable when you're used to moving and doing
Yeah.
all these
And being a
things
planner, a
and
Capricorn
being
planner.
and being a planner. Absolutely.
Yes. It's
Absolutely.
like, you know what? I gotta let that go. I gotta surrender.
Yep. As soon as you do things that are out of your
Exactly.
control, you just there's nothing you can do about it. It's nothing you
Yeah.
can let go, let God. And
Yes.
that's where I'm at in my life.
Yes. Tarika, let's see. Catalea said, "You're definitely beautiful inside and out. Amazing person." Jezebel said, "Shayla, you're amazing. Thank you for this beautiful conversation." Darika says, "Shayla is such a delight. It's such a heavy topic that I almost clicked off. Glad I didn't. Thank you for sharing." Yeah,
Aw.
it's something we need to talk about. Y'all know
Me too.
I'm a bring all these topics. I bring it all my
Yeah,
feelings.
it's real life, and I
Yeah.
also think that my like I do want to give some advice for people who have loved ones or friends who are dealing with breast cancer,
Absolutely.
and how you show up for them. Allow them to tell you the type of support that they need from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some because I did a breast cancer panel yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and this girl came up to me and was like, my mom's going through it, and I just feel like I have to be like, Mom, you gotta, da da da, Mom, please, and when she don't listen, I get frustrated, and I
Mm.
said, you know what, I know it's coming from a place of love, but it's her journey,
Not
so
yours.
you
Yeah.
have to allow them to be like, hey, friend. Today, I'm not feeling my best. Today, I want to talk about cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, let's just go out to eat and talk about nothing that has to do with cancer. Today,
Yeah.
I don't need you to text me or anything. I really just want to sit by myself, and I'm okay. I promise you, I'm okay. But if I'm not, I will let you know.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of support. Like, don't force. And I know, like I said, it's coming from a place of love. And I know we tend
Mm-hmm.
to research and like, oh my gosh, there's this mushroom that you should try. Friend,
Yeah.
it can be a lot because we
Yeah.
ourselves are trying to process.
Yeah.
Oh my God, okay, this treatment, okay, it's so much, and you just really like. I think for me, another thing, I remember my first day of chemo, they gave me a sheet that said all the symptoms I'm going to have after I do my chemo,
Oof. Mm.
and I limited the amount of breasties people who have been through breast cancer that
Yeah.
connected with, because I didn't want too many stories or anything like that.
Right.
Myself to two. And I remember them sharing their chemo journeys with me. And they're like, girl, I lost all this weight. I threw up blood. I didn't
Mm.
eat. I did this and this and that. Another one, she's like, well, I was sleepy, but I didn't throw up. So I was like, okay, it sounds like it's
Everybody's
different
different.
for anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at the paper of everything the doctor said it was going to happen to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is about to be brutal. Before, and I tell people this, there was one thing that I did before I started chemo. I cleansed my body. I went on alkaline diet for 6 months.
Mm.
Um, I don't, I'm not a drinker anyways, but at that time, no alcohol, no sugar,
Yeah.
no, very strict in how I prepared my body, because
Right.
I tell people, it is a complete lifestyle change. And if you have all these things already going on in your body, you drink alcohol, you smoking cigarettes, you eating all these bad foods, when chemo come into your body, it's eating
Yeah.
up and it's making you
Mm.
feel worse. And
Yeah.
so my body, I actually connected with this young lady in LA. So she was sending me all these herbs and she was sending me all these concoctions, and it was cleansing my system. So when chemo got into my body, Joy, I didn't experience none of those symptoms.
Yeah. Wow.
So when people were like, my friend would be like, are you sure you're okay? I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
because I did the work, because
Mm-hmm.
I knew that that's your journey. That's your story. That's not going to be mine. So let
Right.
me experience it first,
Yes.
and and see. And after the first time and the second time, I was like, oh, I don't feel that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
not saying I was just like hopping around,
Right.
but I didn't feel the things that they said I was going to feel. And
Right.
so you create, like, you can change that narrative. You create your own narrative through your
Mm-hmm.
journey, and don't allow people to come in and tell you how you're going to feel, what you're going to
Absolutely.
go through. Protect your mental, protect your peace. And I was like, that's what I was on during my journey.
Yeah. I love
Hmm.
that. Like they
Hmm.
said earlier, writing your own narrative, creating your own narrative. Like you are the main character, okay,
Yeah.
in your movie. So you have to keep that energy. So you guys, you can reach Shayla at it's Shayla James. Shayla James. Okay,
Yes.
don't forget the two S's. ITS Shayla James. And
Yes.
okay, I'm not asking you what's going on in the next 5 years, but what's
Oh, like,
what's coming up next for you?
um, so as I talk about just trying to get back into this space of like
Yes.
being a creative,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm in a space where I feel so good about creating again. So
Yeah.
I'm doing an event in Houston called Until We Meet Again, and I'm excited about that. I'm coming out with my lipstick brand, working on that.
Yes.
About to start finally, opening up my vintage store online and selling clothes, and I'm also
Yes.
making jewelry. So I just find that it's important for me to touch all the things that I love that make
Mm-hmm.
me good, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
so
it.
yeah, just I want to show people, like at some point we all have to leave this place, and I think we
Yeah.
forget how temporary it is. And find your joy,
Mm.
and live your best life, and don't worry about, because everybody is literally trying to figure out themselves, and
Yes.
somebody's opinion about your life is because they haven't gotten the space yet to
Right.
feel free to do the things that they want to do. um
Absolutely.
I'm a very unapologetic woman. And so I want to show people how to be human,
Yes.
unapologetic,
Yes.
how
Hello.
how to like live in your truth and live in your purpose.
Yeah.
And talk about like being Capricorns, and like I do a lot of solo travel. I'm not afraid to get on that plane and go somewhere by myself. I'm not afraid to go to
Listen,
a
that
restaurant and
is the
eat by
best
myself.
thing I ever discovered. Do you hear
Stop
me? I
waiting
was
on
like,
people.
what? Why wasn't I doing this before? Changed
Right,
my
right,
life.
right. Stop waiting
Yeah.
on people.
I love it. Okay, so now we're going to do our rapid fire. So pick one or the other. All right.
Okay.
Night owl or early bird?
You said night owl or early bird?
Yes.
Early bird.
Yeah, you be up early. I'm like, why is she
Right.
texting me? I'm still sleeping. Um,
It's 5:30. Hey,
you like
Joyce.
good morning. I'm like, hey girl, good afternoon.
Right. Yes. I am an early bird.
Hip hop or R&B?
R&B, 90s preferably.
Okay. Stripes or polka dots?
Polka dots.
Okay, I love me some polka dots too.
Mhm, mhm.
Oakland or Brooklyn?
Oakland.
I just had to do
Oakland,
it
but I
though.
do want to live in Brooklyn, but Oakland.
I had to do it though.
You said
Skirts or pants?
pants,
Heels or sneakers?
heels.
Okay.
Can I, well, one heel and one sneaker.
Red lip or nude?
Ooh, red lip.
Okay. Smoky eye or pop of color?
Pop of color.
Okay. Nap
Mhm.
or meditation?
Ooh, nap.
Uh,
Meditate before I nap.
right. Bracelets or rings?
Ooh. Um,
Why she over there
I
click clap, right?
both, but rings.
Okay, rings. And that's it for the rapid
Yeah.
fire. You survived it. So thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I am so happy we had this conversation. So glad it was you, and you know I love you mucho. Um, so yeah, everybody, Shayla James, make sure you follow her. And if you're in Houston, you can receive more details about her event on her Instagram. So check it out at It's Shayla James on Instagram. Next week, I will be joined by another guest, Sunny Pelty. We will be talking about professional women self sabotaging their dating lives. Yeah, I'm getting up in our business.
Right, I'm tuning in for that for sure.
Right. So make sure you follow Shayla. Thanks again for being here, and I'll
Thank
see y'all next
you.
week. Bye.